Awesome. Hello, hello, hello. I believe I am live now. Awesome. And if I am, I trust you're having a wonderful Friday. I know I am. A lovely high frequency Friday. And today I wanted to talk about how to be the self assured and unbothered alchemist in 2025. So, what does it mean to be an alchemist? We'll get to the self assured and unbothered part later because we already know that here in this community. So, to be an alchemist is to transmute. And what does transmute mean? It means to change one form and create it into another. And when a lot of people use the term alchemist, they talk about the ancient art form of turning lead into gold. Because a lot of the time, people in certain times, they would want gold because obviously gold was very valuable. It gave them the resources or it gave them the tools that they needed to get ahead in order to receive abundance, in order to receive trade, in order to move up in the world, in the physical realm. But when you can change lead into gold, that means you can change something from nothing. You can turn and transform negative into positive, dark into light, good into bad. And the thing here in this realm, in the physical realm, we are very much so very dualistic. So, what I mean by being an alchemist is changing one thing from the end of the spectrum and turning it on its head, hot from cold, things like that. Because what's the difference between something that's good or bad? If we put it on a spectrum, one end of the spectrum is good and the other end of the spectrum is bad, whatever judgments we put on it. It's all that it is. It is a judgment. It is our own perception. It is our own belief. It is our own way of looking at things that makes one thing the way it is in our world. So, once again, alchemy is all about transforming one thing into another, and it comes from our perception of it. We have the power to do that. And that's what I would say the number one thing when it comes to being the self assured and unbothered alchemist. It is number one, realizing your power to transform, realizing your power to ascend, realizing your power to be who you want to be all that you're supposed to be in this lifetime. You have everything you need to become the person you want to be. All you have to do is tap into it. All you have to do is tap into it. So, being the alchemist is realizing your own innate ability to transform into who you want to be at any moment. You have the power to do that no matter what. You have the power to do that no matter what. So, do something with it. What do you want to do that with? What do you want to do with your own innate power? How do you want to view the world? How do you want to view yourself? How do you want to view your life experience? How do you want to view your inner and outer universe? That's what being the self assured and unbothered alchemist is. It's not just about the term of it all. It's not just about like, ooh, I'm an alchemist. I can do that. Ooh, I got my crystals and my sage. That is a beautiful thing. It is great to have spiritual tools. It is great to have an interest in being your own creator, being a co creator with Source. But it's one thing to know how to do those things. It's one thing to have these tools. It's one thing to have that type of broader knowledge of what it means to walk a life of metaphysics, walk a life of spirituality. Hello there. Hello, everyone that just joined. Thank you so much. Once again, I'm talking about how to be the self assured and unbothered alchemist. And it's once again, it's more than just having those tools, that basic knowledge. And that's a wonderful, wonderful thing because we all start from somewhere. But it's what you do with it. It is what you do with it. And when you're being the self-assured and unbothered alchemist, I always want to say activist. But when you're being that alchemist, you are once again taking your innate ability to transform and using it to your liking. You're not allowing life to be a barrier for you. You're not letting life you. You are being the creator of your own life. You are being the reality creator here. When you're transmuting a situation, you are allowing yourself to transform that. And when you transform it, that means you're not allowing the circumstances that you have to control you, to control your emotions, to control how you see the world, to control how you see yourself. So when you are being the self-assured and unbothered alchemist, once again, you are using your own innate ability as a multidimensional, highly conductive, a bioelectrical being, a being from source, a being that is mostly metaphysical than physical. And when we have that understanding, we are not letting our circumstances, once again, run all over us. We are not allowing our circumstances to become us. We're not allowing our circumstances to not only control how we see the world, but control how we feel. To control how we feel. Because we get to decide how we feel. We get to decide how we feel. That is the beauty of being a human, is knowing that we have everything we need. Once it is a process, obviously, but it is knowing that we have everything we need to be whole. And that is what we're always looking for. We're always looking for wholeness. We are always looking for wholeness. You know, a lot of the time we talk about wanting to have abundance, wanting to have certain material things, wanting to be this and then that and blah, blah, blah. But we are seeking wholeness. We want to feel like one. We want to feel one with our creator. We want to feel one with people. We want to feel one with ourselves. You are actually already whole and complete within. You just have to know that you're not alone. You have to know that you are from all that is. You are a part, you are a fractal, you are a fragment of all that is, and you are in co-creation with it. And when you're becoming that creator, when you're becoming that co-creator of the divine, your ability to transform is infinite. Your ability to transform is infinite. And you don't need the outside world to validate you and your experience. You validate yourself. You qualify yourself. You authenticate yourself. You okay yourself. So being self-assured, I'll get to the, we're going into alchemy. But when it comes to being self-assured and unbothered about it, the self-assured and unbothered part is once again having the emotional control, having the emotional wherewithal, having the emotional intelligence, fitness, and acceptance to know that your emotions are just an experience. Being self-assured and unbothered is not just about being disconnected, being detached, being rude, being cold, be like none of that. You know, a lot of the time we want to think that, oh, I can cut people off. Ooh, that nothing, no bad, no shame or no judgment and things like that. But when you're being self-assured and unbothered, you are stepping into the version of yourself that allows you to be peacefully detached from circumstances that you do not want to see, circumstances that do not align with your highest good. And nice to meet you, Freya, and thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you. But yes, being self-assured and unbothered is once again being emotionally fit. peacefully detaching from that you do not wish to see, peacefully detaching from that which does not align with the reality you wish to experience. And that doesn't mean ignoring it. That just means looking at it, looking at a certain situation that does not feel good to you, and you're not allowing your emotions to run the show. You're doing so from a very fit, emotionally intelligent, emotionally aware, emotionally acceptant place, an emotionally accepting place. So that's the thing too when it comes to being self-assured and unbothered and being the self-assured and unbothered alchemist is letting your emotions be okay. Being okay with how you're feeling. Being okay with what's happening right now. Being okay with just being okay. Being neutral, going back to neutral, going back to unconditional love, going back to understanding that whatever is aligning for you right now is not for your detriment. It's not to punish you. It's not to send you into a frenzy. It's to show you what you're made of. It's to show you what you do or do not want. It is showing you any old paradigms, old belief systems, old patterns, old thought systems, old feelings you had that are coming up to show you that they need to be cleared. They need to be reprogrammed. But at the end of the day, they're here for you to play with. They're here to give you the opportunity to course correct, giving you the opportunity to reroute yourself back into alignment. So, as I always like to say, there's circumstances that are happening for us. They're not punishment, it's preparation. And when you're becoming the self assured and unbothered alchemist, you are preparing yourself for the creation, the lifestyle creation you desire. You are preparing yourself to become all that you want to be in this lifetime. Once again, not even taking your power back. Your power has always been there. But you are preparing yourself to be the creator. You're being prepared in such a way that once again you're not allowing things to control you and how you feel. Oh no, you are letting everything be okay. You're allowing things to be okay. You are surrendering to what is happening because it is not your circumstances that is your life. It's not your circumstances that is your life. Your circumstances do not determine what your life is. You get to determine that. And that all comes from your perception. That all comes from your perception. And how do you change your perception? You transmute it. So let me give you an example. So very, very recently, probably about 2 or so weeks ago, I had a situation happen actually as I was putting on my makeup because that's one of my art forms. I love doing makeup. It's so much fun. And I had a situation that popped up that arose. I got a text. Uh, I won't go into too much detail because it's a long story. I got a text that was triggering for me, even though I could have chosen to be grateful in the moment that happened because it was something that was good, but it brought up a lot of past pain. It brought up a lot of past hurt, a lot of past trauma. And it reminded me of a belief system that I have not released and reprogrammed. I thought I released this belief system. I thought that this past trauma was cleared. I thought I had already transmuted this part of myself. But because of a lot of the inner reflection I do, that I suggest a lot of you do, especially with, I have my Align and Unshaken e-guide that I will put in the description of this video once it is published here on my channel. It is a way for us to work through our chakras, our root, our sacral, our solar plexus, our heart, our throat, our third eye, our crown, and we have other chakras above and below us, Earth star, soul star, all the way up, 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 up into all the dimensions because we exist on every dimension metaphysically. But that is a way for us to clear, activate, and balance our chakras. And also guided meditation, through visualization, breath work, or all those types of things, so that when we have situations like this that pop up, we know how we're feeling. We know what place in our body that we're feeling that type of trauma, how to clear it and release it and reprogram it. And of course, healing is a lifelong journey. We're never going to be truly healed. That's the beauty of being a human. There's layers to everything, and with every healing session we have within ourselves, we keep going up and up. But my Align and Unshaken e-guide definitely gives you the tools you need to recognize when you have these triggers and use your energetic centers to heal along the way. It's basically advanced shadow work. So definitely take advantage of the Align and Unshaken e-guide. Once I put that in the, I believe I can do that with this. Let's see. Can't tell what this is supposed to be. Excuse me for 1 second. Okay. Interesting. Give me 1 second, please. Okay. Whatever. I tried to do something, I thought it was going to work. But going back to what I was saying, I had that moment and I recognized the tightness in my belly. I noticed my palms sweating, my armpits sweating. I noticed my mind racing. I was in survival mode. As a self-mastery teacher and intuitive healer, I'm always being cognizant, aware, and mindful when I have these feeling states because they're an indicator, because all emotions and feelings are indicators, even thoughts are indicators of deeply rooted belief systems. It's all about belief systems because, once again, our belief systems are the blueprint of how we perceive our inner and outer universe. What you believe, you perceive, quite literally. So when I noticed I was having these feelings, even though the text message was a positive one, there was nothing negative about it. It was my perception. It was my belief system. It was something that I have not gotten to the root of. And what I did in that moment to calm myself down so I could be in unconditional love, be in neutrality, be in acceptance, was use my alchemy abilities, use my transmutation abilities. I didn't run away from the moment. We don't want to run away from the moment. We don't want to run away from our feelings, regardless of how icky they feel and regardless of how positive they may feel. A lot of us resist positive emotions as well. So I am somebody who used to do that as a gothling, as you will. But what I did in order to move out of that feeling state, in order for me to shine a light on that subconscious mind program, on that nervous system program, on the autonomous belief that was running the show, I allowed it to be okay. I reminded myself that yes, I'm feeling really negative right now. I am feeling very negative. I'm in survival mode. I feel anxious. I feel stressed. And once again, as I said, I should have felt gratitude from that message, but I did not. All I saw was lack. All I saw was a lack of my abundance. And if you know a lot about metaphysics and this type of world, the consciousness world, there is no lack of anything. We have what we need right now. There is no lack, there is only love. We are never without. It is our perception that can shape that. It is our perception that shapes our reality. So I made sure I used my transmutation abilities I made sure I was the self-assured and unbothered alchemist in that moment, not to run away from those feeling states, but to not flood my body with all that cortisol, because it's not normal, and it's not healthy, and it's not cool, and it's not sexy to be in a stressful state at all times. I understand that we're living in there's no time in history ever in any part of the planet that has never gone through strange, unprecedented times. That is just what it is. That is the themes here on earth. Once again, it is our choice how we want to deal with it or how we want to perceive it. But I made sure I used my alchemist abilities. Once again, I was talking about earlier in this video, everything is on a spectrum. In Hermetic principles and Hermeticism, there's a law of rhythm, or the law of polarity. So everything's on a spectrum. We live in a very dualistic world. We always see things as dark, light, good, bad, negative, positive. That's how we were conditioned. And that's just how things seem here in the physical plane. So I reminded myself, okay, on what end of the spectrum, what are these feeling states at the end of the spectrum? I'm feeling in survival mode right now. Once again, tightness in the chest and the belly, sweaty palms, sweaty armpits, mind racing, feelings of lack, feelings of poverty consciousness, really. Not even shaming or judging myself. Giving myself the space to feel. Giving myself the space to understand what's happening within rather than trying to distract myself with outside pleasures. Even though I am a firm believer of pleasures, trust, believe. Today is Fantasy Friday. I always say that on my Instagram. I probably even said that here on YouTube a few times. But I'm all about pleasure as long as you're not distracting yourself. We have pleasure centers in our body, within and without our body. And there's absolutely no shame and judgment if we use it in a healthy way. Once again, we're not using it to distract ourselves. We're not using it to abuse ourselves. We're using it because we can. Because life is joyful. Why not experience pleasure while you're here in this plane? So once again, I realized I was on the side of the spectrum that was in survival mode. What is the opposite of survival mode? What is the opposite of lack? What is the opposite of poverty consciousness? What is the opposite of feeling like you're unsafe, insecure? It's not even just abundance. It's love. It is love. Remembering that I'm a fractal of source. Remembering that all there is love. Love, joy, on the end of that spectrum, love, joy, peace, bliss. And I wasn't running away once again from those feelings. I recognized my ability to move out of survival mode in that moment, all those stressful, anxious feelings, and to go on the opposite side of the spectrum because I can. And because I did that, once again, I allowed myself to feel, because you have to give yourself some time to feel it, because those feelings are great indicators of the layers and layers of belief systems that we put on top of things through our own upbringing, through our conditioning, from our peers, our parents, our authority figures, our teachers, our friends, the media, all those types of things. We already know. I don't have to explain to you. You already know that we've all been conditioned, programmed, engineered, poked and prodded to become a certain type of human. But what we have not been taught, what we have not been programmed to believe, is in our own power, in our own ability to create, to feel joy, to be healthy, to be happy, to be thriving, to even be neutral. We're always seeing things in a dualistic standpoint. But with being your own self-assured and unbothered alchemist, you're giving yourself the space to be that creator, to take life in your own hands, to go from neutral, from angry to neutral to joyful. That's exactly what I did. I moved out of that space. I allowed myself to feel, I gave myself the time I needed. But then once I got into the opposite side of the spectrum, once again, the law of polarity and hermeticism, in the law of rhythm meaning this, the pendulum is swinging back and forth. As much as we can feel one side of the spectrum, we're allowed to feel the other side of the spectrum. As much as we may have a downswing of life, we will have an upswing of life. As much as we see this circumstance happening, another one on the opposite side of the spectrum is happening. Same with the law of polarity and hermeticism. If we can feel this side of the spectrum, this other side of the spectrum also exists. And being the alchemist, being a human in general, being a human being, being a fractal of source, being multidimensional, being amazing and dynamic and powerful and infinite, we have the power, the free will, and the choice to also be in a better feeling state. So once I moved onto the other side of the spectrum by transmuting that energy, transmuting survival mode into abundance, into unconditional love, into acceptance, into really neutrality. I'm not saying that just because I've moved into this feeling state of joy, bliss, ecstasy, that I got there immediately. I had to move on the spectrum and then I got there. That's why, once again, as much as spectrums do exist in this dualistic world, yes, good and evil, okay. But where are you on the spectrum? Where are you on the spectrum? There's a spectrum to everything. It's not going to be just black and white all the time. So I moved to that feeling state, and from there I found the solution. Instead of wallowing in my anxiety at the moment, wallowing in what was going wrong, wallowing in my insecurity, wallowing in my lack of faith, wallowing in my feelings of lack in general, when I moved into that higher feeling state, when I moved into unconditional love, joy, peace from within, because you can call it at any moment. I'll explain how in a second when it comes to being the self-assured and unbothered alchemist. Excuse me, but I was able to find the solution. I was able to, from a higher vibrational state, from a higher frequency state, understand why I felt this way. Because if I stayed on the opposite side of the spectrum of, once again, feeling unsafe and insecure and being in survival mode, which a lot of us are running off of, the root chakra being completely blocked, allowing our traumas, allowing our pain, allowing our conditioning, allowing our limiting belief systems control how we see the world, you're not going to find the solution. You're going to keep harping on what is not going right. So I was able to find the solution. And you know what? Sometimes there is no solution to the solution. There's no answer to the question. It's just, this is what it is. I accept what's happening right now fully. I know that this is happening for my benefit and not my detriment. I know this is showing me old paradigms that are meant to stop right here. And once again, instead of wallowing in those feelings, I stopped that cycle. I cut that cord. I rerouted that path that it was going to take me down. And I allowed myself to see what the real issue was. It's not that I'm actually in lack of abundance. It's not that source has left me and I'm just going to constantly be in a state of insecurity or lack of foundation. It is my own limitations that is making me feel this way. The person who texted me didn't make me feel this way. That situation didn't make me feel this way. Because that situation could have happened to you, my lovely darkling, and you would have behaved or treated it or felt completely differently. It was my own belief system. It was my own past pain, my own past traumas. It was my own negative perception of what happened that made that emotion arise. So it's always important in alchemy when you're wanting to transmute a situation, you're not just running away from it. You're not running to the opposite side of the spectrum to flee from the emotion, from the thought system, from anything like that. You are accepting it with no shame, no judgment, no labels, no titles. You don't even have to put a name on it. You don't even have to put a name to the emotion sometimes. Accept how you're feeling. Your feelings are not burdens. They're information, they're indicators. They're allowing you the experience of knowing that there is a part of you that needs compassion, that needs unconditional love, that needs light, that needs attention, that needs affection. And before I explain about the inner child portion of us that's screaming out for our attention, because at the end of the day, we're all grown children. We're all children in adult bodies. We are all children who have grown up and have adult responsibilities and have, honestly, the difference between us and children, other than our more mature physical bodies, we have to think about the mental and the spiritual to be mature too. That is our choice whether we want to mature them. Excuse me. But hydrate. But the difference between us then and us now is that or the similarities is that we still have that sense of wonder and joy and playfulness and excitement and that energizing, fun, like fantastical sense of wonder within all of us. We have just it's been chipped away at us for generations and for years and years as we grow old, as we grow up. And that's the thing. What makes us different from our childhood selves? It's just the fact that our body has grown older. Another year has been added. More responsibilities have been added. More conditioning have been implanted. And when we're children, we're given that freedom because it really is about freedom, really. It really is about freedom. But when we're children, we're given that freedom to play, to explore, to be curious, to have fun, to dream. And as much as we could do that now, we just have never been taught to cultivate it as adults. Therefore, it's been lost within us. And our inner child is always screaming out for attention whenever we do have triggering moments like that. Because usually, not all the time, but a lot of our triggers, a lot of our trauma, a lot of our pain come from our upbringing, come from our childhood. There is a part of us that from, our experiences growing up, there is a part of us that we had to suppress. There's a part of us that we had to stuff down in order to survive. Because we probably told to not talk about it. We probably were told to just shut up and, deal with it, all those types of things. But our inner child wants that attention. It's even weirder calling it an inner child. Once again, yes, because we had to stuff it down in order to heed to our responsibilities. And, we have been programmed to be robots, to be like feelingless, just robots, not feeling, or if we're feeling terrible. Just wake up, eat breakfast, go to work, take care of this, that, robots. And this is no shame or judgment because how would we know? How would we know that we were not programmed in the right direction? We've trusted our authority figures. We've trusted our teachers. We trusted our parents and our guardians and our friends and our peers. We trusted these people to give us the right information of how to go about life safely, how to go about life smoothly. But as we all know, this is not safe, nor smooth, nor fun, nor enjoyable, nor creative. And we want to be creative. We want to have fun. That's why we're not happy. That's why we're not thriving. We're always in the right direction, no matter what. Once again, we're always being rerouted back into alignment, regardless if the situation is good or bad. Once again, alchemizing it or transmuting that energy from whatever side of the spectrum will always change your perception of what's going on in your outer reality. But once again, we have trusted these people to give us the right information about how to go about life smoothly and safely. But I always used to say there's no manual to being a human. Yes, there is. There are several manuals to being human, and it's very ancient, and it's very known, and it's very looked down upon. A lot of people see it as crazy or wild or not practical. Okay, but is it practical to be doing things that we don't like to do all day and we're stressed out because of it and we're just being robots? Once again, no shame or no judgment because we have all fallen for that trap. But we know it doesn't work for us. And once again, we could take that experience too and alchemize it to our liking. We can still alchemize that perception to make our lives more enjoyable, even when we have to play into the 9 to 5, even when we have to play into the boring and tedious responsibilities of being an adult, all those types of things, all the roles that you're forced to play in the world. We can still alchemize that energy to make it suck less, to make it at least more enjoyable. However, you can also alchemize that experience to create the reality you actually enjoy. Okay? And when you alchemize your experience in that way, excuse me, I just did my hair the other day. Just want to make sure that put it behind me because locks, mature locks, can be very itchy. Not even mad though. I be liking it though. Anyway, but yes, when you want to alchemize your experience, you can once again you can make the 9 to 5, what people like to call the matrix type situation work for you in your favor. But you can also create a life that you enjoy because you have the power to do that. So let me give you an exercise really quick of what I like to do to alchemize my emotions whenever I'm in a feeling state of panic. I don't want to say panic because I'm sure there are going to be different tools that people who actually have panic attacks do. But what I like to do in moments where I'm feeling not so good, I'm definitely feeling negative, I'm definitely feeling in a state where I am wallowing in my pain. Because how could you not? Being in pain is addictive. We need to be honest. If we really want to do healing work, if we really want to uncover all the layers of our limitations, if we truly want to be the alchemist, if we truly want to do shadow work or shadow reflections, if we truly want to master the self, human and spiritual, not only are we going to have to be honest with ourselves about how we're feeling, but we're going to have to be okay with experiencing the fullness of all emotions because we are so addicted to feeling like crap all the time. We are so addicted to the anxiety. We are so it's the same way as how we feel when we eat sugar or when we drink coffee. I just had coffee a couple hours ago, so I have the room to talk. I like coffee. What can you do? There's a difference between doing something to run away or doing something because you truly enjoy it. But when we're feeling something for a long time, we're feeling negative for a long time, whether it be hours, days, years, decades, which a lot of us do, no shame or judgment. However, it is still our responsibility to reroute that cycle, to cut that cord, and to transmute that energy into something that aligns better with who we want to be, because we have the choice. So we have to first be very honest with ourselves, not only how we're feeling, not only where those feeling states are coming from, the layers and layers of belief systems and traumas and pain or blah, 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 memories that we've experienced in our lifetime and lifetimes before. Everything is in the now. So lifetimes happening simultaneously, I will say. But we need to be honest that we sometimes like the feeling of being sad. We sometimes like the feeling of being negative. We sometimes like or love the feeling of being victimized. Because deep down, there's a part of us that feels like with our negative feeling states, somehow it'll reroute. Somehow God will help us. Somehow God will save us. Somehow somebody will give me money. Somehow something will align to get me out of this situation. And once again, no shame or judgment. We have not been taught how to move out of the victim mentality, move out of survival mode. We've been taught that being in survival mode is the safe way to do everything. Not at all. Not at all. Being in survival mode will never make us feel safe. We are not squirrels. We are not giraffes. We're not robots. We have, not that animals or non-human animals are robots. However, non-human animals, because we're animals as well, they, as much as they are beautiful and have their own purpose and passions here on this planet, they don't have the level of consciousness we do to create everything, to create anything and everything. They are in survival mode all the time. And a lot of the time we admire the presence and the instincts that animals do have. And I love you. You already know I'm an animal lover. You already know. You already know I'm vegan and all that type of stuff. However, the beauty of being a human animal is our ability to create. It doesn't mean that we should have dominance over non-human animals, because they have their own function here. That is a beautiful thing that enriches the planet and enriches the collective. But we have the gift of higher awareness. Once again, doesn't make us better, it makes us different. But we have the gift of creation, of co-creation. We have the gift of higher consciousness. We can look in the mirror and recognize ourselves. And once again, with that power comes great responsibility, but it is always our responsibility to reflect on why we like to wallow in our sadness, to reflect why we're feeling the way we do, to reflect who we want to be in this lifetime and other lifetimes, and to reflect on why we do not believe we deserve it. So when you are being the alchemist, you are understanding your gift, your talent, your natural innate ability, your power to be all that you're meant to be in this lifetime, past and future. You are no longer allowing outside circumstances, people, places, or things dictate how you should feel about yourself in the world. At the end of the day, you get to decide. And the more you clear away who you are not, clear away all the conditioning, clear away all the programming, and get to your authentic core of what actually lights you up in the side, what makes you feel passionate, what makes you feel joyful, what makes you feel abundant, what is your higher self, your God, goddess self trying to channel through you in this divine vessel that you have. And then once you allow yourself to express that in the healthiest way possible, you actually are utilizing your own free will not the will of our authority figures, not the will that has been instilled in us since birth. You're taking your power in your own hands and you're doing something with it. And by you doing that for yourself, you are doing that for generations back and forward. You are healing the earth. You are healing the collective consciousness. You are healing the universe. You are helping the universe expand simply through your own inner reflections. Disregarding other people's feelings. Once again, I talk about the self-assured and unbothered. We're not disregarding anyone, anything, or any feeling. We are simply being self-focused in a way that allows us to transmute our pain into power, our darkness into light, our fear into love. That is our task. Not to work a 9 to 5 and die, not to do all these things that you do not want to do in order to be a more respectable human, whatever that means. It is to come into wholeness, come into unity, come into oneness with yourself, with the collective consciousness here on this planet, and with Source. That's what we're always seeking. We're not seeking earthly pleasures all the time, which do it in a healthy way. I'm not saying nothing about that. I'm not going to be one of those people who say that pleasures are bad. Trust and believe. I like to enjoy myself. My inner child is out and present, okay? My inner child loves to have some fun and to play. This is my form of play. I love connecting with you, lovely darklings. And I'm so, so grateful for you watching me right now, watching in the replay, supporting me for all these years, last year in 2024, this year now, and in the future. As I commune, engage, and offer love, insight, support in this platform and in other platforms. But it is just, once again, so important to do what we feel called to do from a place of wholeness, from a place of wellness, from a place of joy, from a place of authenticity. So once again, we're not seeking, we think we're seeking sex, we think we're seeking alcohol, we think we're seeking drugs. Of course, that there is past pain behind that, the way we deal with it. Maybe our family members dealt with it, maybe our ancestors dealt with that. Ancestral healing is very important as well. You heal that by being self-focused too. But we're seeking with everything we do, even if it feels like an outward thing, we are seeking wholeness. We are seeking oneness. We are seeking unity. And it all starts with you. It all starts with alchemizing your pain into power and your fear into love, and shining a light on all the darkness that you have shamed and judged into repression, into suppression. And once again, it is not your fault, my lovely darkling. It is not your fault, because you have been conditioned, even in your womb, even in your mother's womb, you have been conditioned in your DNA to be this way. Because somewhere along the line in human history, we were taught that this is the way to live. No, no. But it is up to you to alchemize that, to be the self-assured and unbothered alchemist, and flip anything on its head that is not suiting or not aligning with the version of yourself that you want to be right now. Because once again, you get to choose. So before I go, I just want to give you an exercise that I like to do, that I mentioned earlier, whenever I'm in a feeling state that does not feel good. So what I like to do is, let's say that I went back, like what I said a few weeks ago, that text I got. So I'll even demonstrate. This is literally how it was. I got the text. I was like, I put it down, my phone down, and I was like, I did a body scan. I closed my eyes. I made sure I breathed in deeply through the nose. Did a body scan out through the mouth, feeling all the sensations within my body. Whether they feel good or bad, it does not matter. I am meeting it with unconditional love, acceptance, neutrality. I am letting it be okay. I am letting how I'm feeling be okay. So, what I like to do is I take, when I visualize in my third eye, my mind's eye, I visualize me sucking up energy from the earth's core. It's usually like a large red beam of light, namely the earth star chakra or the root chakra, the color that corresponds with that. I imagine the earth's core beaming its energy up from my feet very quickly, up through my feet, through my earth star chakra, up through my root chakra, up through my sacral, up through my solar plexus, my heart, my throat, my third eye, my crown, shooting up all the way to the heavens, up, 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 way, way, way up, even further, taking it even further, as high as I can imagine with my mind's eye, going up to source energy, going up to God, whatever you want to call it. And usually when I imagine that, I won't go into much detail, it's just beautiful, billowy electrical clouds that have crystal quartz all over it. Like little crystal quartz point. This is not a point, but if y'all know what crystal quartz looks like, y'all are amazing and y'all are aware. But yes, just crystal quartz points. Just beautiful, like almost like aura quartz. Like beautiful aura, like a rainbow aura. And you can just sense the feeling of love, joy, peace, bliss whenever I imagine that. Whatever visualization works for you is perfect. So once again, bringing up Earth's energy, Mother Earth's energy up through my body, all the way up to source, and then bringing source energy all the way back down through my vessel back into the Earth's core. Breathing in. And this is giving me not only a deep body scan, but allowing me to be enriched by Earth's energy and enriched by source energy at the same time. Enriching source energy with Earth energy and enriching Earth energy with source energy. So just being a conductor of high vibrational earth and energetic energy, physical and metaphysical energy. So just breathing in, giving that my body the time and space it needs to feel everything in its entirety and let me know what it needs to know. Once again, without shame or judgment, only meeting it with acceptance, compassion, unconditional love, neutrality, if you will. I recognize that in that moment when I felt that, once again, my belly was tight, my hands were sweating, my armpits were sweating, my mind was racing. All my thoughts reflected my limitations that I have placed on myself through my own conditioning, through my childhood, and through being in the world we live in. Just allowing myself to be, breathing in still, letting the emotion flow through me rather than running away from it, still allowing it to be okay. Letting it move through my body as I am allowing earth and source energy to enrich me. And then once I felt that the rush of survival mode energy, the rush of stress, the rush of anger, confusion, negativity, once it was dissipating because I gave it the space, it's not going to be recycled through my body because I'm not resisting it, I'm not judging it, and I'm not suppressing it because once again, when we suppress, when we repress, and when we stuff down our emotions, they only come back up to haunt us. So we might as well deal with them in the moment, regardless if they feel good or bad. And that's on that. Once again, not our fault, but our responsibility. That's the human manual I'm telling you about. So we feel them in its totality, giving ourselves the support of the earth, the support of God, letting it flow through us. Once those emotions were dissipating, once I realized that this is just merely an experience that I'm having, this is just merely my perception, this is just another layer of said belief system that luckily I have, by the grace of God, I have moved through There may be another layer. I don't know. I'm going to have to let things rise in the moment. But I always say this mantra to alchemize a situation once I have moved into neutrality and unconditional love of a situation in my body. And I have seen my emotions as neutral without shame or judgment, not giving it any type of label or title, even though I knew how I was feeling. By the way, it's 555 here in Baltimore. And what I always say is a variation of this. I create joy from within and I'm feeling it now. I call on the bliss from within and I'm feeling it now. I command the emotions of peace, ecstasy, happiness, whatever you choose to feel. That is usually, once again, back to the law of polarity and the law of rhythm in Hermeticism, the opposite side of the spectrum of that emotion. I call on the feelings of bliss and I'm feeling it now. I command the emotions of peace and I'm feeling it right now. I'm feeling bliss. I am now feeling abundance. I am now feeling uplift and empowerment. I am now feeling amazing. I am now operating from God's love and light frequency. The solution is clear. The answer is clear. Reminding yourself that you have the power to move any type of energy in your body, not only to perceive it in a certain way, but to feel it in a certain way. And all it comes is from your own acceptance of how you are feeling, the own acceptance of who you are, and the acceptance of all that is, not denying that you are not just the physical part of you. You are everything, my lovely darkling. You are everything. You are all that is incarnate. If anything, the smallest, most minuscule part of your being is here on this earth. Once again, you are multidimensional. You exist everywhere, everywhere. You are infinite. You are powerful. You are divine. Be the self-assured and unbothered alchemist that you were put here to be, and transmute every circumstance into your liking. Because you are the creator. You are in co-creation with Source. Do something with it. Do something with it. All right, and once again, you can get further and further into that mentality, not only clearing your chakras, using meditation to your liking, or meditation to clear a lot of the energetic centers that have needed to be balanced for so long with my Align and Unshaken e-guide. I will put in the description of this video, and you'll hear me talking more and more about it. Or you can also go to madamemystiquenoir.com and you can find it right there on the shop page. But yes, thank you so, so much for joining me today, my lovely darklings. I love going live with you all. You are so awesome. I feel like I will be going live like every Friday, maybe. Let's see. I don't like to put a lot of titles and I don't like to stamp things because once again, that kind of takes the playfulness out of it and the creative part of me out of it. I like to be in flow. Like even today, I didn't even plan anything. I just like to be in flow. Anyways, once again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will talk to you in the next live or just in my community tab or in the next video. But either way, much love, and until next time, my lovely darkling. Bye-bye.